Okay. Hey there, strangers. It's time for another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Stranger Jim, and today uh, we got we're gonna be continuing our Pega journey to get the certification. And of course, I welcome you to join me on the missions and modules as we take that journey. Um, we're going to upload yesterday, well, the video is already uploaded, but I'm going to go ahead and post that yesterday's video on my channel, on my YouTube channel, and as well as try to get some others going um, during the during my 3 to 4 slot, and then we're going to be doing some Wednesday worships afterwards. So hopefully you stick around for all of it. Um, so um, But let's go ahead and get started on going into our um, Pega Academy studying, shall we? Okay, so let me see. Okay, it's very distorted here at the moment, but or it looks very stretched. But I mean, I did stretched it the screen, so not much I can really do about that. Okay. Um, so as I talked about yesterday, I talked about, how to, kind of go up here to, make, to sign up. Um, I tried, I tried to do that on Monday, but it was blocking me for some reason, which I had to contact support for. So there's that. Um, so. And then, I talked about, the different types of, programs, missions that Pega has available. There are different certifications that you can kind of go for. And then I showed the difference between the system architect and the business architect. So we're going to continue with our system architect. Um, studying. So let's get right back into that. We were in the low code app builder. And we didn't get very far, but I was kind of trying to talk about everything prior to then. So we're still in the low code defined. We went over the low code application development, so we're now going into the integrating with external applications topic. So, all right. Okay, so they do have a video here. Hmm. Um, I mean, I'll play the video. I think there's going to be some visual text that's going to show up on the screen. Um, but you won't be able to hear it. You'll have to kind of do this. You'll have to hear it for yourself. Um, I don't want Pega to kind of get too upset at me or come after me with like, copyright strikes or anything along those lines, okay? So, um, um, well, actually, I'll leave it alone, actually, now that I think about it. I'll leave you to kind of look at it for the most part. I'll just kind of read the transcript myself here. So modern enterprise applications and the data they process are really self-contained. Integration protocols, interoperability standards provide access to read and write data that is housed in a variety of systems of record. And this is another one that you need to be careful of, or be aware of, because this comes up often. You can design applications that link multiple physical and distributed resources. Pega platform provides a comprehensive range of data and integration capabilities that simplify the task of connecting your application to distributed resources and gain access to the processes and data they offer. Pega platform supports a range of integration standards and communication protocols, allowing you to focus on addressing the business requirements of your application rather than on connectivity development. For example, your application can connect to an external database or consume data from an external web service. So, I mean, they pretty much explained it right there. You know what they try to go for. Um, Obviously, you need to make sure to uh, figure out and make sure that that connection works properly. But you know, so however, many external systems still in use today were not designed to share data with other applications. Well, true-ish. Um, it depends on um, it really depends on that application. Um, because there are some applications that actually provide you, um, the APIs, libraries to kind of connect to their applications. So you could kind of bridge that gap. You could figure out, how to do that. Um, I don't know if they say many, but I don't know. I don't think you know. I'm sure that it was you know many you know when Pega was first you know brought about. Sure, uh, there was a lot of systems that didn't allow for that. Um, but things have changed. Um, you have companies that are allowing for you to kind of access, um, tools that they develop to, integrate their application into yours, you know. So, um, I don't know if that's how true that is now, but whatever. These external systems do not have an API for sharing data. Again, depends on the system. Other systems may have an API that you cannot access. Um, well, sure, you know, and there are some APIs that are behind a paywall too. But I mean, whatever. Or the API is insufficient to support your business requirements. Um, okay, then why even bother with trying to integrate the external systems in the first place? You look for another external system that does support your business requirements. Um, I don't know. But that gets into like business, finding out like the best tools for what you're looking for and the like. So, um, you know, if I don't know, I can't really say that this is really true nowadays or not. So, um, because I mean, you see applications nowadays where it's like, you can embed, Twitter, Facebook, you know, um, you know, Google Ads, it's it all depends on what you're trying to go for. Um, Now, obviously, if you're dealing with something that has more sensitive data, then oh yeah, there's a lot more that requirements when it comes to more sensitive data. So, is your business properly, handling that, and that kind of an exchange of data, you know? Um, so you have to be really careful along those lines. In these situations, you can use the Pega robotic process automation integration capability when no other integration option is feasible. Um, Normally, whenever they do these um, acronyms, try to remember it because um, you know it may come up during the certification. So remember that RPA stands for the robotic process automation. So, you know, they may refer to it at some point in time, you know, like what is RPA or something like that. So, achieving the best business outcome requires you to align the business requirements and IT infrastructure with the most appropriate Pega integration capability. Knowing when to apply Pega RPA as opposed to Pega integration connector helps yield an even higher return on investment. Um, okay, sure. The following example applies the appropriate Pega integration capability to achieve an optimal business outcome. US Plus Bank has recently acquired several banks. Obviously, this is an example there, folks. As a result, there are multiple customer service systems of record. When customers contact the bank to change their address, a customer service representative, CSR, initiates a Pega change of address service case. The case prompts the CSR to enter the new address. Once customers validate the new address, the case workflow proceeds to update the address to one of the many possible systems of record. If the address is stored within U Plus Bank's own customer SOR systems of record, the case updates the address in real time by using a standard API connector, which exchanges the data between the Pega application and the systems of record immediately. This update is possible because both Pega and the customer services record understand and support a standard protocol for information exchange. Um, so, um, one thing to note here is the fact that when you have like one bank acquiring multiple other banks, you're talking about like multiple different websites. So, say like for example, like Bank of America purchases out Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, and a couple other like credit unions or something like that. Well, um, they want to change the, um, maybe they just kind of want to keep the name the same. You know, maybe instead of changing all the branches over to like Wells Fargo or something like that. They just want to keep that brand name the same, but still have ownership of it, but still like maintain records under like one umbrella. Um, so um, they may need to change, um, certain, um, they might need to change the website a little bit to, show the change of management, change of ownership and the like. But more often than not, it's more, on the back end, like, you know, um, you want to try to keep, you know, you want to have like the, Bank of America's records being put in, or, you want all the records from all the different banks trying to be stored into like one, you know, central repository of information so that, all the banks can use it and all the banks could, um, try to like offer, you know, um, that, you know, the customer might be offered, like another, like a better deal from like one of the other banks or something like that. One of the, like, hey, we got a loan, specifically designed for you or something like that. So, um, but they wouldn't necessarily know that if, say, like the credit union has this, loan that they can give out to like maybe new customers or something like that, but Bank of America doesn't have that particular loan. So if Bank of America has a good candidate for that loan, but the credit union doesn't have access to Bank of America's database, then they're never going to know about it, right? But I mean, if they get put under one big umbrella, then you know, then um, you can see that exchange, a little bit better. So, trying to get comfy here. Sorry about that. All right. Um, so, um, so that's kind of like, what they're, kind of referring to here. When repeating this example for customers who open their account with one of the acquired banks, the system record is an older legacy system that does not support an API for data exchange. For this customer, the Pega change of address case allows the CSR to initiate Pega robotic process automation in intended mode. Uh, Attended RPA refers to automation that works alongside a human involved in the process. This automation triggers a robot to update the address by opening the SOR's front end, which could be a desktop or web application or even a terminal screen. The robot then fills in the new address fields by interacting with the user interface in real time, effectively performing the same job as the CSR does manually, but in a fraction of the time. Both address change updates can also run in the background in unattended RPA mode. The difference is that the address change request is placed in a queue for processing later. Unattended RPA offers the advantage of optimizing system resources and reduces peak loads. This approach is also ideal when the update process takes time because it allows the CSR to continue servicing the customer instead of waiting for the address change to complete. That, I mean, um, certain factors you need to um, make sure that it kind of updates like right away because I mean if you're um, like maybe the customer wants to send out an order with the new updated address or something like that and they're wanting to kind of see that in real time, then well, maybe you need to get the address to be shown in real time. Maybe you need to kind of get that address changed so that the like a checking account, you know, printing out the checks or something like that needs to be set like immediately. It's hard to say. It you know this is part of why you want to have your business kind of examine, um, what kind of approaches you want to do, and then, they talk to us, the programmers, to try to get it done. But we'll see. Um, um, Robots execute real-time attended or unattended RPA tasks. To help manage and provide insight into robot performance, Pega provides a control tower application, Pega Robot Manager. Pega Robot Manager allows you to monitor and schedule RPA robots and provides performance analytics for all robots. U Plus Bank's approach to using both Pega RPA and integration connectors to connect to different customer services systems of record aligns with the bank's long-term strategy of unifying on a single modernized customer SOR. Pega platform separates the application functionality from the integration details so that it's easy to replace robotic automations with an integration connector once the bank unifies on a single system of record. The data source and integration layer are separated from the application layer so that future changes to the systems of record have a minimal impact on the application. So the these layers that they're talking about at the very end, those are also, something that you will need to be aware of for the um, for the certification. So because we'll be seeing, which um, you know um, you'll be kind of dealing with those layers, through the process here. So, um, data source layer, integration layer, and application layer, you know, remember all those. So, um, so the fact that, hey, you can change the application layer as much as you want, blah, blah, blah. Um, modify it, change it to how you want to, um, maybe you want to change it up a little bit, have like different, buttons, or um, you want to kind of streamline things a little bit more. Um, as long as you're, as long as you're only touching the application layer, the data source and integration layer should be perfectly fine. Hopefully you're not screwing up there. But, um, they try to keep them separated out so, what you do on one particular layer won't negatively affect the others. At least, hopefully. You want to try to, uh, work on that, obviously. Now, the video does provide some visuals to it, and it does allow for you to kind of visually see what they're talking about in this video transcript. So, like I said, I would recommend, everybody to kind of go through that video, in their own time and see, you know, um, have more of a visual representation of it. So, now, um, in my most recent job, um, I personally didn't use any of the robotic process automation at all, um, because the work that we had, um, was, for the most part, pretty much all done. So we didn't really use this all that much. So at least I personally didn't. It um, could have been handled by, um, one of my teammates, uh, you know, but I'm not sure. But for the most part, I don't think so. Whatever. I shouldn't really say too much too about my past employment, just in case. All right. Workspaces. Pega Platform Studios. A Pega platform provides 4 role-based authoring workspaces referred to as studios. Each workspace provides specific tools and features for application development. By using the appropriate workspace, team members complete tasks by using tools that align with their expertise. Pega Platform role-based authoring workspaces are the App Studio, the Dev Studio, Prediction Studio, and the Admin Studio. Now, the App Studio is a low-code workspace designed for business architects, citizen developers, and system architects. So they are more, that this particular studio is designed more for, the business architects or, yeah, let me bring up my dashboard here real quick. More the business architects. So, the business architects are, the App Studio is designed more for them than anything else. Okay. Um, Not to say that it doesn't allow for, um, it still allows for a lot of work that can be done for the application, but that's what the Dev Studio is all about. A low-code workspace with advanced configuration options for technical team members as well as system architects. So, I mean, you still have the system architects here, in both areas, but the Dev Studio, goes more into the advanced configuration options, or more the code, um, um, you know, activities, structure, structures and the like. So Dev Studio is one that I would be using more for as a system architect. So Prediction Studio, an analytics workspace used by data scientists and business decision makers. So um, on the View certifications, um, we refer to it before the data scientist and decisioning consultant. So, um, so Prediction Studio might fall in, within these particular certifications. So, and like I mentioned before, this tends to be more the like the RPA, for example, um, AI and the like. That's the Prediction Studio kind of allows for more of those tools, if I remember correctly. So, um, and then you have the Admin Studio, where software administration workspace managed by IT staff for system administration. So this is handled more for security of your of the Pega you know so um, giving access to developers, or restricting certain sections or maybe even layers to certain groups or something along those lines. That's you know, that kind of falls more on the admin studio side of things. So each studio speeds application development and enhances productivity by providing users role-based functionality. As a best practice, system architects and other technical team members work from App Studio unless the features they need are not available in App Studio. App Studio manages behind-the-scenes configuration, reducing the likelihood of programming errors. So, so, um, you know, if you need like an application that is very, I guess you might say simplistic, like something that can easily be done, then, you know, you probably could build it all with the App Studio. It depends on how complex your application is going to be. If it's, you know, if you need to do more configuration, then you're going to be needing to go into the Dev Studio. But they're trying to get it to the point where, you know, you don't necessarily need the Dev Studio as much, or at least, you know, they're trying to work it along those lines. So, um, so you just use the App Studio for the majority of developing the application, and there you go. So now, bear in mind, if I'm getting any of this wrong, you know, feel free to correct me. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube or anything like that, like, hey, if there, you know, if I misspoke in some way, you're welcome to put a timestamp down and explain why, you know, if I'm saying something wrong, let me know. Um, Not only would that help me, but it helps anybody that might be watching this on YouTube later, or you know, if you're watching in chat right now. So let me know if there's a problem. You know, um, you know, I know that I'm not, um, you know, I'm not a, you know, lead system architect. You know, I'm not a senior system architect. I'm trying to get that, you know, just a system architect certification. So I'm not all knowledgeable about this. Okay. So I will admit that, you know, um, I don't have all the answers on this. So, okay. Click the following image. Click on the plus, or on in the following image. Click the plus icons to view a screenshot and learn more about each studio. So the App Studio here, building an application without touching a line of code is all possible with App Studio. One would hope. Low code or no code app development. Um, Now, remember these bullet points here, okay? Because they may ask you questions about, you know, what studio is best for next best action. Okay, so multi-channel for App Studio, mobile for App Studio, and user interface or UI. Dev Studio allows developers to go deeper into the Pega platform. Pega platform advanced features and Pega marketplace. Now, obviously, you know, they'll be explaining more of that later. Well, I mean, that, you know, obviously I'm gonna need to click on these buttons to maybe they explain it right now. We'll hold off on that for now. Prediction Studio built-in decisioning and AI powers up applications built by Pega. AI and next best action. Admin Studio. Manage security, DevOps, users, and cloud performance of your apps. DevOps, runtime status, and the cloud. So uh, the App Studio, this workspace provides features for application development. Users can design cases, manage data, and design the user interface. Citizen developers and technical staff in roles such as application developer, front-end developer, data engineers, business analysts, and system architect use the App Studio. To learn more about App Studio, see the App Studio overview. And there's, once again, the case lifecycle being shown there. Um, Now this opens up, I believe, another topic. Basic settings. Um, which, um, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we're probably going to be going through this anyway. Um, Introduction to application development in the low-code application development section there. So here, hold on. Let me verify that real quick. So this may be covered again, later. So low code application development. Um, if they don't have it, they really should. Let me see if it's in low code app builder. Nope, not there. Let's see, hold on. Introduction to application development. I'm not really seeing it either here. But the mission has another mission here, so. Wait. Did they really do that? They put this mission in that mission. Okay, well. I mean, once we complete this mission, then it'll show on this one that it's already been completed. But I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but I mean, sometimes you might need to just do, I mean, this might just be like, hey, we're, it's extended, so someone might just go with this one particular mission and completely missing this one. Who knows? Um, but okay, so I didn't see either one of these topics in there, and to be honest, they really should like include these um in their topics, or in like as modules, I would say. Um, but at the same time, it's like the it's it gives me the how deep can you go in like Wikipedia, for example. Um, how some people would see, you know, hey, I'm trying to connect, like race cars with um, Thomas Edison or something like that. And then they try to click all these links, just trying to make that connection in some way, through Wikipedia, for example. Um, you could probably do the exact same thing uh, with this website, with the fact that they have, you know, links on their pages leading to other um, leading to other websites. Um, you know, so but I mean, it seems like, some of this information might be useful within, the um, within the main um, mission, or they could be like talking about it already, but like not like maybe in a more condensed way or something along those lines. But um, so bear that in mind. There's other web pages that are like going over portions of the like the App Studio, Dev Studio, and so on and so forth here. Um, so just kind of bear that in mind as you move forward. But let's head on back here. So there's that. Dev Studio. See, here's the Dev Studio overview. This workspace provides advanced features for application development. Technical users of Dev Studio include full stack developers, system architects, database and security administrators. Learn more about Dev Studio, see Dev Studio overview. Um, I mean, you'd want to know more about these applications, especially if you're going to be using them, so um, and that's why it's like, hey, you'd want to go through, these um, these tools, these descriptions more. We'll worry about that, after, like maybe after we're done with this particular page, I'll go through um, those particular topics. But um, here they're showing, the records, for the data model classes and properties, and it's showing, various um, classes that have already been, you know, created and whatnot. Um, so yeah, um, you get like I said, you get more in depth into the application as a whole. So, Prediction Studio. Prediction Studio provides features to build machine learning models for adaptive, predictive, and text analytics. To learn more about Prediction Studio, see Prediction Studio Overview. To access this workspace, users require PX Prediction Studio as one of the portals associated with their access group. So, um, so yeah, they um, created, predict web uh, propensity action, outbound and SMS, outbound retail, and other various topics there. So remember, keep in mind this PX, prediction studio here. You're going to be seeing that kind of um, labeling, you know, um, throughout Pega Academy. So this isn't anything new, you know, um, or at least to me. So now you might not, maybe you might not see it too much in the App Studio because this tends to be, like I said, more the background information. Um, you know, looking at trace files and the like. But so yeah, okay. And Admin Studio. This workspace provides technical team members with runtime information and configuration options for monitoring and debugging system resources. To learn more about Admin Studio, see the Admin Studio overview. Um, so here you can also kind of set it up so that you can um, um, if I'm not mistaken, this is a spot that um, did I? Oh, I forgot to remove that tag. um, Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Um, the If I'm not mistaken, you can kind of set up a means to allow for um, dividing work up with your team, like providing, uh, you know, you can try to do more of an agile development team, set up stories and like, through Admin Studio to, um, so that, you can hand work out to others, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I haven't seen it used in that fashion, but I believe that's what Pega is trying to get people to do, to kind of move in that direction so that um, so they're trying to build like an all-in-one tool that you can just kind of use you know if you want to build an application, you can just use Pega to handle it all. You know, that's their idea. So you don't have to go to, you know, make a Jira account on the Jira website, or um, you know, um, you can, their intention is trying to get everything being handled within Pega itself. So. Depending on your screen size, icons replace text-based menu options. Hover over the icon to view the menu name. In the following image, move the slider to see how Dev Studio displays menu names or icons depending on the screen size. Okay, so yeah, so Here, as you can see, the menu names are being fully shown, but when you're dealing with um, when you don't have a large screen, these icons get changed into smaller icons that they still do the exact same functionality, but obviously, you know, like the launch portal, for example, that's the rocket there. You know, configure um, is the gear. You know, application is the box there. So that kind of thing. So in Pega Platform, you can improve productivity by using role-based workspaces. For example, front-end developers can design a web portal in one workspace, such as App Studio, while system administrators switch between workspaces as they configure advanced deployment functionality and monitor runtime results. Users can have access to one or more workspaces. When users log in, the system opens the user's default workspace. They can then switch to any other workspace they have security access to use. Studio navigation. Each studio consists of three areas: a header, a navigation pane, and a workspace. The following image, click the plus icons to learn more about each area. So the header contains various menus or tools depending on which studio is active. For example, in the upper right of the App Studio, you can click the appropriate icon to access Pega Agile Workbench, a tool that allows you to capture real-time feedback about your application and tracks feature development. All studios have a drop-down arrow in the upper left corner, which lets you switch between studios to which you have access. So as you can see right up there, it says App Studio. Okay, kind of hard to see with the menu names blocking it there. And okay, so as you can see here, you have the Dev Studio. If you click on that, in the Pega application, it will allow for you to switch between the other studios that you have access to. They can restrict your access to those studios based off of, like the admin studio. So, or at least in, intended to do that. Um, okay. Navigation panel. Navigation pane allows you to access various parts of an application through explorers. For example, Case Type Explorer or Data Explorer. Again, those will be covered later, so don't stress too much about everything that's over here on the left-hand side. You know, everything that's over here, they'll refer to them in the certification process. So, and then of course you have the workspace. The workspace is used to configure the application behavior. In App Studio, you can use the application overview section to review high-level case design information, data management information, user experience information, and so on. Use this page to find and monitor key components of your application to help you decide how you want to allocate your development resources. For example, you can compare the lifecycle of business processes across your case templates to identify inconsistencies and opportunities for reuse, or review the ways users interact with your application to find new ways to engage customers. So, application layers, or the various layers are right over here. But again, we'll get to that. So, check your knowledge for the following interaction. Which three authoring workspaces are found in Pega Platform? Choose three. Well, you have the App Studio, the Dev Studio, and the Admin Studio. Now, one of the nice things about these little quizzes that they give, especially like, this one that they have here. Um, when I check answer, hey, I got it right. Awesome. But um, if I want to, you know, um, yeah, good. It got reset for me. So if I was to say, hey, I want to do these three, it'll show me, and sometimes, it's not always, but sometimes they'll show me, why, hey, no, this is the wrong answer, and they'll explain why it's the wrong answer, and I like that. Um, so, um, so Access Manager is not a Pega platform authoring workspace. Okay. Um, I'm not quite sure why they, is it a term that they use, through rest of Pega? I can't really remember. I don't remember seeing it that much in my Pega training. So it may come back later. Not 100% sure about it, but I don't remember it offhand myself. Um, and case types and data objects are configurable within the Pega platform, but they are not a workspace/studio. So, um, so let me see. Okay, they're not showing the example here, but if you go to say the um, where was it? Oh, we are done with our. We ran out of time for our payout. So this is what it's talking about by the case lifecycle or case type. So um, so doing this here is not the same as an actual studio itself. Okay. So it's just a one of the um, it's what's the wording that they used here. Um, it's the workspace that they had. Um, that you can on the navigation, you click on these and it opens up you know um, a particular workspace for that particular topic item. So yeah. Now another thing is that if you get them right, they'll also kind of explain why it's right. So and this is also pretty useful information as well. Why it's right. They don't always do this, but I like the fact that they do. So it kind of reinforces what you just learned. So um, so try to keep that in mind. Remember what they give you here. Notice how, they're saying, App Studio includes low code, no code app development, multi-channel, mobile, and UI features. Hmm, I've seen that before. So, um, so bear that in mind, while, they're asking this particular question right now on this example, they can come at me like on the certification exam and say, what App Studio is multi-channel? So, they can throw the question at you differently. They can throw a curveball at you on the certification exam. So know, what's in the App Studio, what's in the Admin Studio, what's in the Dev Studio, and so on and so forth. So, um, okay, well, That's it for the hour on this. We are going to go ahead and close on down. Obviously, this was a longer topic overall. Um, our next topic is going to be going into um, App Studio directly appears. So let me, yeah. So we are going to continue on with App Studio tomorrow. Um, we were able to get through integrating with external application and workspaces. Now, again, I did talk quite a bit about it, and that's why, I mentioned the fact that, the times that they provide here, it can be different for, whomever. Like, we did an hour setting with, for both of these topics here. So that's three times the amount of time that we took, you know, that they said, hey, you can handle this within, you can handle workspaces in 5 minutes. And there's quite a bit of information here for 5 minutes, So that's why it's like, you know, I, d- I don't like going by the those time amounts because of, you know, uh, they put in a lot of information in some of these topics that you might need to study more for, or you might need to kind of um, focus on a little bit more. So, um, integrating with the external applications. I mean, this is, I believe, like a 4-minute video, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, technically, you can go through this in 5 minutes. But why are they saying that it's 15 minutes? Hmm. See what I mean? Um, so just kind of, I, I wouldn't really use these times as a good indicator, of how much time you spend on each one of these topics. So just bear that in mind later. All right. But that's going to be it for today's Pega Academy um, study session. Um, I'll try to get these out on my YouTube channel. So for anybody that is interested, link is down below on my Twitch About page for that. Um, and you know, I'll try to get these out, you know, um, I'll try to get them out like the day after, I do, well, maybe not the day, maybe like 2 days after, on my YouTube channel, um, so that you can kind of follow along the process, and hopefully I'll get through it all, so you know, um, you'll be able to follow along with me. Now, um, it, eventually it will get to a point where, we complete the, you know, that we complete the full system architect, um, everything that is here, all the challenges, all the missions, all the modules, we complete the mission test, we get our little trophy here about it. But that might not necessarily mean that you're ready for the certification test. You know, um, I mean, for one thing, you know, they are requiring you to have a passing score here, of 80%. So, so you have to be ready. 80% of 60 questions. So now the certification test is, um, if I remember correctly, I don't think it was 60 questions. I think it was more like 30 questions, and the passing score wasn't as high. But like I mentioned before, they were bringing in topics that weren't really covered very well in, you know, in this overall mission. So, um, in the mission of system architect, there were topics that were presented in the certification exam that weren't addressed in the mission system architect. So that's why it's like, um, uh, the during my initial training, they suggested that I go to other like testing areas or testing study guides to look up questions um, that were done before, so that you prepare. And we'll go ahead and do that. Um, we'll see. I'll see if I believe there's like um, some mock exams that I can take, if I remember correctly, for the certification. So we'll try to take those and see how well we do on that. Um, and then, you know, um, if I'm feeling comfortable, then we'll go ahead and try to do I'll set up my exam, at that point. Um, but as you can see, there's various other pages that go over, additional information here, and I may do this tomorrow. Um, I may do this tomorrow because there are, some additional information. I believe, I don't know. I don't know what's covered here. Okay, because it's not addressed in the other missions. So there might be some additional information here that might be on the certification exam. So um, so I'll try to go over this tomorrow as well. Okay. So um, um, so that will mean that in the low code app builder, under the module, or yeah, in the module low code defined under Workspaces, when it said, hey, check out the App Studio overview. We'll go over that tomorrow. We'll go through all four of those and see if there's like, how much additional information that they provide in there, because I mean, it has the potential of being on the certification exam. So let's go over that. Okay. Um, Again, I would have. It would be great if they put, this App Studio overview, um, you know, like maybe in their low code defined module or something like that. Have these as additional topics or something like that. I mean, you're already covering App Studio here. Have Dev Studio, Prediction Studio, and you know and all that here. I don't know. That's just me um, speaking out loud. So now, granted, for business and for system architects, you know, um, we're probably not going to be seeing, or we're probably not going to be needing, you know, those different studios, we're probably not going to be even needing to use Prediction or Admin Studios. Okay. But I mean, if these are potential questions on the certification, then we're going to need to be aware of it. So, so yeah. Okay. That's going to be it for that. I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to just chatting. Um, so thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. So I'm going to stop the recording now. Take care.